All right, I am going to walk you guys through how to complete a student-paced NearPod lesson. I know there was a little confusion for some of you on how exactly to complete this. So this week you've had 3 student-paced NearPods to complete, and I am going to show you how to complete Wednesdays. So if I'm on my course page, and I click on my class plan for today, it's going to open up and it tells me that I have an experimental variables NearPod that I need to complete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply click on the NearPod and it will open up on a screen that asks me to join this session. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my name. I don't need to put anything in the other field. I can, but I don't have to. And I'm going to click Join Session. Once I click Join Session, it's going to pull up a lesson that I'm going to complete. And today's lesson is on experimental variables. This is a result of you um, completing the other activities through this week. If you have not completed the other activities this week, this one might be a bit more complicated for you. So once you're in the session, you're going to go ahead and navigate through these slides at your own pace. So here's your objectives. You're going to be able to differentiate between independent and dependent variables. And then you're looking to you're evaluating different investigations. So I'm going to keep navigating through here. And the first thing that it's going to give me is a video. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not personally going to watch it right now, but what you would do is you would go through and you would watch this video. Following the video, you can go ahead and continue to the next slide. And it is a fill in the blank activity. So what you need to do is go through here and read the statements and fill them in. It's a closed reading activity. So if I start, I'm going to look at this first sentence in science and blank. Even if I didn't know what it was, if the preceding word is "and," I know it has to be a word that starts with a vowel. So it's independent, independent, experiment. In science, an independent is created to test a blank. Okay, that independent doesn't necessarily make sense there, so I would have to keep working to figure out which term goes there. So here in science and experiment is what makes sense, so I would pull the word experiment and drop it in the blank. And I'm going to continue doing that with all of the other words. And then I would simply click Done to submit it. Okay. Following this activity, you have to click Done before you move on to the next slide. Okay. So clicking Done will actually turn in the activity. Once you click Done, so for me, I've clicked Done. It says you got 1 out of 8 correct. That just is because I didn't put the other one. So then I'll click Close. And you can then go to the next slide because you won't be able to drag anymore. Okay, so you complete it, you click Done, you go to your next slide. Here are additional directions. So for the next part, you're going to read a description of an experiment. As you read, look for the hypothesis and information about the independent and dependent variables. Rewrite the hypothesis in if-then form. For example, if I expose a plant to more light, it will grow taller. Then you're going to underline the independent variable and circle the dependent variable. So if I go to the next screen, I have a description of an experiment. So what I would need to do, okay, is find, well, it asks me to underline the independent. So I have my pen here and I can simply click on the pen if I want to change the colors. Okay, I can also increase the size of it or decrease the size of it depending on what you want to do. Okay, if you make a mistake and you don't like what you underlined or what you circled, so let's say I'm going to underline here. I just made that up. So if you decide, you know what, that's a mistake, I didn't mean to do that, I can simply click on the eraser and come over here and I can erase what's on the screen. And just like with the pen, I can increase the size of it. Once you feel like you have been able to fully answer the question, you'll then click submit. So I'm going to click submit. I cannot go back and edit it, so make sure it's what you want. Now you need to rewrite the hypothesis in the if-then format. Okay, you go back through here, you read it, you find the hypothesis, and you type in your answer. Okay, your answer goes here. You must submit before going to the next slide. Okay, so I've typed my answer in. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Again, it's turned it in, and now I'm going to continue to do the same thing. If you just navigate the slides, nothing will get turned in. Okay, so make sure that you're actually completing the activities and submitting them, not just doing them and going to the next slide. You must submit them. Okay, as you're going through, if you decide that you want to take notes, we're not really going to do that, but this feature is here if you need it. If maybe you missed something, you can always go back and you can resubmit if you need to. So even if you go back and you realize, I don't like what I did here, you can go back and change it. Okay, I am curious. Even here, if you need to come back, let's say you didn't like, so I got 1 out of 8. I want to try again, so I can go back through. You just have to navigate to the next slide and come back. Okay, I hope this makes sense for you, and I hope that you have kind of a better understanding of what to do with a student-paced NearPod. I realize the other two are a little bit different, but you are just navigating slide by slide and completing the activities within the NearPod. Please make sure that you email me with any questions or concerns, and again, I hope this video was helpful.